Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Chaitanya Mittal and I just graduated out of IIT Delhi this year. And I'm here to guide you all with respect to your OCS intern series. So you can ask me whatever doubts you have after I finish my presentation. And first of all, we'll go through a sample CV in which I'll tell you broadly what all green flags and red flags are there after you write your CV points. So yeah, that's it. Let me know when to start, Aditya.
Okay, sir, you can start.
Fine, I'll just do one thing. I'll share my screen. Right. Yes, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let me do one thing. Right. So first of all, your CV has broadly 5 parts, right? You must have been knowing that so far. First of all, is your scholastic achievements, whatever academically you have achieved, and whatever scholarships you have, whether it is department change or foreign exchange, your top 7% merit list, your CBSE results or JEE results, or any other monetary scholarships that you have received in the past. That is the first section of your CV. Second is your projects. They could be self projects, course projects, or independent projects with your professors, and it could be Sura, DISA, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then comes your technical skills, whatever languages, whatever softwares you have come across in these past 2 years. You have to mention that. Then finally, you have your PORs and ECs, right? In your analytics CV, you have one more section, which is your projects and internships. There are 2 sections more. So if you have done any internship so far, let's say your off-campus internship or any other research internship that you have done so far, you can mention that. And whatever projects we have already discussed, right? Now, there are several things. First of all, please make sure that you are making pointers or making notes of this meeting because all these things are very essential for your CV making, right? First of all, I'll show you the sample CV, if you can see this. First of all, let's see the scholastic achievements. Now, some points are green and some points are marked red. We'll go through that step by step. First of all, let's see these first 4 points. Okay, it says MHRD scholarship. That's fine. It shows the first 2 to 3 words will be your heading of that CV point. What you're trying to convey. It should be the most important point of that line. So here it is MHRD scholarship, right? And within one line, you have to mention the description of that. This person says that he was accredited with a science research fellowship by the government of India for excellence in academics. That's fine. And at the end, we show the year of that particular achievement, right? Now, you can see that this person has used these bold marks here. Wherever they felt that this is important. Let's say INR 50,000. There were 300 delegates from 50 countries. So basically, you have to boldface wherever you think that you are quantitatively implying some results or some important points. Let's say you can see in this project achieved a false positive ratio of less than 2%. So this false positive ratio is a keyword. This 2% is a particular thing that you want the recruiter to notice, right? So you have to keep that in mind. First of all, you have to show which is the most important part of that line, describe it within one sentence, and then tell the year of that part. Right. Now, I'll just come to a few points before I go on. You have to please ensure that your grammar and spelling are correct throughout your CV. Just make sure give out your CV to 4 to 5 seniors, 4 to 5 friends. Go through that again and again. This is very important. Even if the recruiter sees one of the spelling mistake or one grammatical mistakes, you're out of the ballgame, right? Then comes capitalization and punctuation. If you can see here, let me see. Here, this person has used a comma. Here, he used a semicolon and so on, right? So these things are very important. Just don't ignore them, thinking that they don't matter. Again, I'll emphasize this. Get your CV proofread by seniors. Show it to +1 seniors, +2 seniors. They'll guide you. They have gone through the same intern season. They have gone through the whole process of CV making and then sitting for the interview. So they have a fair idea of how to go about these things. Then the main thing which is essential for this workshop, particularly for analytics and tech, is you have to show your impact quantitatively. What I mean by that is, you can see here in this project, this person has told that wherever numbers are visible, right? Let's say what was the dimension of that block, what distance did they travel, or let's say it was a 2D map. You can see, right? We have a lot of numbers here. Then he received a grant of 12,000 rupees and so on, right? So I see a few there are a few numbers here. You can increase those numbers. Let's say you have a project on machine learning or any kind of optimization project. You have to show that this was your percentage accuracy. This was impacted by you. You increase the profit by this much in any internship or in any project. You increase this revenue by this percentage, the efficiency by this much percentage, and so on. So your quantitative impact is very essential whenever you're making CV. I'll show you some red flags as well. Let's see, I'll go through this project, mobile food tracking system, right? This could be a very standard project in your all courses. Let's say this person mentioned used KRE trees to implement the database at central server to keep track of all mobile phones registered, right? Now, this is something he or she just described whatever they did, right? There is no impact, nothing. I can't, as a recruiter, I won't be able to see what did that person in particular do to improve the system. There is no impact word. This is something which the whole class must have done, right? So I can't really differentiate this person from another person. So that's very essential. Impact words are really essential. Secondly, you can see one more red flag here. Let's make the session a bit interactive. Can you tell me what is the red flag in this particular project, MTL 710, in the chat, please? Anyone?
Aditya, make sure that chats are enabled. Is it?
Yes, ma'am. Chats are enabled.
Guys, are you able to send things on chat?
Yeah, attendees are
Okay.
testing.
Did not bold.
Who's
Yes, that's fine. Manjul, that's correct. One of the main reasons. Multiple lines in a single point. Bravo. Yes, that's what I was aiming at. Riksha, that's correct. So the point which I'm trying to emphasize here is no recruiter is going to sit and go through 3 to 4 lines of a single sentence, right? Even I did not read that before reading the CV. The moment I saw that this line is changed after specified by the, I'm not reading it, right? So make sure whatever projects you are writing, any explanation, any internship, one point should have only, one sentence should have only one point, right? It should not go in the next line. That's very essential. Let's see what the other answer has. Yes, point is too big. Yes, correct. That's fine. Has not written correctly what he did in the project. Yes, that is also correct. In this, let's say it's an MTL 700 level term paper, and this person just mentioned very, very very verbose way whatever they did. There's no impact shown, right? No, I know I'm using this impact word again and again. I'll come to that. What you can do. I'm just telling you the problem. I'll also tell you the solution after this. Now, one more thing which you have to see. All right, you can see this internship, right? Ace Finity Infotech. Can you tell me what is the red flag here?
Because the points are too short, I think. They should cover the entire line.
Exactly. So yeah, so as Aditya has clearly mentioned that you have to optimize your white spaces. So this is the first thing which any senior would tell you whenever you send them your CV. You have to complete this line from, it starts from Android application and ends at this PHP, right? What about the second half? If you look at your CV as a whole, this would look very ugly if other lines are filled fully and this particular line, this whole white space is getting wasted, right? So make sure whatever points you are writing, they have to cover from starting till ending of the particular space available. It should not go beyond the next sentence. It should not come less than 70%, right? For every point, you have to make sure that if you have two short points, make sure to combine them into one long point, but within the same line. So that's one thing. Now let's come to one more intricacy, which is the date formats. With this point, date format consistency. One thing I can tell you here is, let's say, whenever this person using his scholastic achievements, they have used this straight brackets, right? Straight bracket is here, straight bracket is here. But however, in this 2017, they used a curly bracket. Is it visible? So you don't have to do that. Please make sure all the brackets and all the date formats are consistent throughout the CV. Also, the months that you have been using, let's say here, this person used May and July. This July is used as a full month instead of JUL. Some people tend to write JUL. And let's say if it were August, you can write just AUG, right? So make sure that throughout the CV, if you are using short form, then use a short form. If you are using long form, then use a long form throughout the CV, and you cannot use two formats within the same page, right? This person is pretty consistent. They have written, no, actually, yes. So they are consistent and they have pretty much used short forms only, right? DEC for December. Then July is fine, only 4 letters are fine, but you can't write August, full August here, right? Then here is a red flag. They used October, so that's a red flag. They used a comma, which they were not using for earlier projects. So again, consistency is the key in CV making. Again, these brackets are, we have a curly bracket here and the short, the straight bracket here. So you have to use the same ones, right? Again, one overlooked fact is the usage of American and British English. What I mean by that is, let's say you are using the word optimized, right? So in the end, if you are using a S versus using Z, so you have to use that very consistently. Optimized, or let's say initialized, channelized, all these words which have a confusion of S versus Z, you have to make sure that you just choose one and then maintain it throughout your CV. And the next thing is formal photograph. Yes, that's very important. Don't use a selfie or any photograph in your informal clothes, in your t-shirt, etc. Make sure that it's a formal photograph in either a shirt or in a suit, complete suit. That's up to you. But please don't use a very informal photograph in multicolored background. Stick to one plain background, and that you'll be good to go. Then secondly comes our technical skills, right? These technical skills are fine. I think I have seen a lot of CVs where these white spaces are there. You should tend to complete this. You can fill all these white spaces here. But even if in the technical skills column, it is 70 to 80% of the available space, that's still fine. You can use 2 lines here. As you can see, this person used 2 lines. First, for the languages that they know, C++, Java, Python, MATLAB, very standard set of languages. And the second line they used for software and frameworks. So whatever software and frameworks you have learned in your past 2 years of BTech, you can mention them here. You can use 2 lines. If not, you can choose to consolidate it within 1 line, right? Now let's come to your PORs and ECs. Now this section might be a bit overlooked when coming to analytics and SD and tech. But however, it is still important, and you don't have to write such big sections for these. Just make sure that for PORs, if you have any PORs or ECs, just mention a small bit of them. Let's say within 3 to 4 lines, maximum 4 to 5 lines for PORs, and maximum 3 to 4 lines for ECs. So what will happen is the recruiter will actually see that this person does the things beyond academics and is not just like complete bookworm or something. They want someone who is great to work with, not just who is good at work, right? So that's a very important factor that you have to keep in mind. So instead of writing 3 to 4 lines for a POR, just write whatever the POR is and then 1 line description. Next POR, 1 line description, that's fine. Similar for ECS, just whatever ECS do you have. Some people have 10 to 15 ECS, some people have 3 to 4 ECS. Whatever the case is, just choose your top 3 to 4 ECS and write them neatly within 3 to 4 lines. That's it. Your analytics and tech CV should not have beyond that. Your main emphasis should be on projects and internships. That's where you will stand out in front of the recruiter, because that shows what you have done in the past 2 years and why should they really hire you, right? So that's fine. I'll come to one more point. If you can see the slide, I don't own the slide, by the way. This was introduced to me during my intern season. So this will give you a broad idea of in which sector, which sections are important. As you can see in the bottom right, for finance and analytics, academic details and calls are very important. Internships and projects, as I emphasized again, and then comes at the last PORs and ECs. So you can take a screenshot of this. That's fine. So now coming to the next thing, action words. Yeah. So I was again and again emphasizing the usage of impact words and your quantitative impact that you have created in a project or in internship. So there are a lot of fancy words that people use in a CV. Again, you can take a screenshot here and I go through them broadly. So whenever in a project, let's say you improved something, or let's say it's a machine learning project, or it's a software where you improved any particular part of it, or the whole complete project, that's fine. You can each time, instead of writing improved, you can use these words. You can write replaced, redesigned, or updated, or revamped. These are the words which at least they won't create redundancy in your CV. It looks pretty bad if there are continuously 3 to 4 lines which have just starting from the same word. So make sure that your word usage is diverse and you don't repeat these impact words again and again. That's why this is a very large list, and you can choose according to the situation. Let's say you led a project. Let's say you are describing a POR, or let's say any EC. Right? Instead of on every line writing led this team, you can write oversaw. You can write coordinated, orchestrated, organized. So that's how people actually make fancy CVs, which actually look good. If you created something, there's a list for managing, for researching. There are lists, right? So I guess that's it for this particular presentation. Any other doubts which you have? We can start with the session.
Okay, so we'll be starting with Q&A. All of you who have a doubt can raise your hands.
Part.
Parth, go ahead. Okay, so Parth is Parth doesn't have a
Please
question.
start. You can go ahead and try to be quicker.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that if we are doing a project which is ongoing and not completed, so what should we write about that?
Right, it's fine. You can definitely write it if you think that you have achieved some progress in it, or let's say even if you're planning to achieve some progress, you can choose to write that on your CV and write that you have already done that. That's fine. You can actually in the dates, if you write, you can let's say May 2024 till present. That's how you can do it.
And about the progress, I mean, if you're going to achieve something, can we write that what we're going to achieve in the future?
I would recommend that if you because you will be making your CV today, right? And recruiters will see your CV in August when you're actually sitting for the interview. So if in August your CV says something in the future tense, that won't look good to the recruiter, right? So just write in the past tense that you have achieved that, if you have.
Okay, Avni, you can ask about.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, like, if we've completed a course or some specialization, does that come under scholastic achievements or projects or technical skills?
Okay, what kind of course is it? Is it some online Coursera course?
Yeah, that kind.
Okay, people generally see. Again, it's up to you. Some people will write it in the scholastic section. Some will write it in the ECA. Now it depends. Let's say you are making your CV, you have a lot of points, right? Now, whenever your CV window will open, I guess it's opened, right? Aditya?
So CV window. Yeah, I'm
Its
not
deadline
sure.
is on 30th. Yeah.
Oh, it's
deadline
tomorrow.
is
All
on
right.
30th.
So you'll realize that whenever you have a lot of points, let's say, and you'll have to prioritize which point to write in the what section. If you feel that your ECAs are very less, you can add it to the ECAs. If you feel that your scores are less, you can add it to scores. It's up to you.
And in the scholastic ones, do we write our JEE advanced rank or just leave that for PH2?
Again, up to you. Some people write it, some people don't. I did not write it using my intern season, but I used it during my placement season. So again, there's a trade-off. If you think that your scores are not that much, you can write it. If you think that you have sufficient scores during your college, then you can skip that. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Parth, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, my question is regarding the CV getting flagged. Like, what are the common factors due to which our CV gets flagged generally? Apart from PORs, do we have to submit some proof for projects we have done, self projects?
In my time, there were no proofs required for projects, but I have heard that from this year onwards, they have started asking for proofs, right, for self projects. So you may have to ask the OCS people. Currently, I'm not aware of the current rules. In my time, there were no proofs for projects. That's what I can say.
Like,
If your
generally,
project
what
is
proof we will give for a project, like code or what?
yeah, you can attach. I don't know. You can ask the OCS staff first of all. And according to me, you might attach some emails. Let's say if it's a project with a professor, you can attach some emails that you have of your conversations. If it's a course project, you can attach the screenshot of the submission, or let's say the code itself, the working part of the project. I think whatever OCS staff likes or whatever they approve.
Like, okay, thank you, sir.
So someone in the chat is asking, can we start doing these projects and internships from second year?
Yes, definitely. Like it's already the June has finished, and whatever course projects you have done so far, okay, so you are in energy sciences, right? If you have done any course project or assignments, let's say there's a big assignment in a course, you can write that as a project. That's fine. A lot of people do that. So that's one thing. You can write the call 100 projects, or let's say EL 100 projects, if any. Whatever is relevant to that profile. Let's say you're applying for an electrical core company, let's say, then those projects will be more relevant. If for a tech related company, your coding projects will be more relevant. And coming to internships, yes, a lot of people do internships after their first year summer break or during their second year summer break. So they all write those in their CVs.
Okay. So it looks like we don't have any more doubts. Okay.
Anything else? Yeah, we have.
Okay, Bart, we have a question. Bharti, you can pass it out.
Sir, can you please guide more on analytics CV?
Sure. Right. You can still see my screen, right?
Yeah, it's
Yes, sir.
All right. See, analytics CV has broadly, I'll tell you already whatever sections are there. Your academic details will be fixed, right? You can't move this. Second is your scholastic achievements. Again, this stays the same for all your CVs, mostly same for all your CVs. Now, particularly for analytics, these two sections are very important, your internships and projects. If you have done any internships so far, write it here. In the first line, tell whatever your role was or whatever your company was. Most people write in this, instead of this developed database, most people write the company and then they write what their role was or what they did. And in the next 3 to 4 lines, they tell whatever impact that they created, and not just the project details, right? This person has written it pretty impressively. You can see they have used a lot of bold spaces here, finance technology, these much transactions every second. This was the accuracy. They detected this money laundering and the ratio of 2%. So you can see it, right? They have mentioned whatever they did and whatever impact was created. They have shown particular numbers for their internship. That's what the recruiter will actually see. If you even if you as a leader will go through this internship, the first thing which you will see is the company name, the role, and whatever bold faces are there, right? So you have to think in the eyes of the recruiter and then make your CV. That if in that case you will be more able to judge what is more important. Coming to projects, again, I told this again and again. Write the project name, whatever prof was it with, and then describe it appropriately along with a particular date format. Here you have to tell whatever the project entailed. What is it? How is it important to your analytics profile? Analytics profile may basically 3 to 4 types of projects are there. You should definitely include one DSA project, data structures project, at least one machine learning project if you know that. And if you have done any finance courses or economics courses, let's say, you can choose to include that. And total projects should not exceed 5 to 6. Right? Write 5 to 6 projects, minimum 3 to 4, maximum 5 to 6, and explain them in a very neat fashion. Tell the recruiter why is that project relevant for that company, right? So that's it for technical skills. Again, I explained it. Yes.
Can we have the add the web development project in that?
Definitely, I did that myself in my internship season. So these are this is not my CV, by the way. In my project section, my last project that I included was a web development project, and in fact, I remember one of the recruiters asked me about that project. So I've done that. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Tejas, you can unmute yourself.
I
Tejas,
had a
sir.
question that I was doing a project which has 2 professors. So if I write their name, it has a white space. That's not looking good. So should I write the 2 names or should I just include one?
See, that's fine. If you want to optimize the white space, you can choose to omit one professor. But if you can write both, that's fine. Like your project name, then 2 professors' names, and then your date. Could you specify exactly where is the white space? Because if you write more, you will have less white space, right?
I mean, the title of the project and the date takes 1 line, and the second line I'm writing project supervisor, then the professor and his designation and everything, and then the other professor and his photo. Second professor, there is a white space, now project supervisor.
Okay. In that case, I think you can choose whatever minimizes the white space.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a question in the chat, I guess. Is there any difference between Quant, SDE, and analytics series? Right. So the basic difference is, I would say, in analytics CV, you would write at least 3 to 4 lines of ECAs, right? However, in an SD, from what I've heard, SD people might not care about your ECAs, but analytics ones do, because in an analytics profile, you are not just coding, you're actually interacting with people and generating insights from whatever your company is. So I guess your some part of your soft skills are more essential in analytics than SD. So that's something. In SD, only projects relevant would be your data structures and machine learning. For analytics, it is good to have 1 or 2 finance related or economics related projects. Though not necessary, it is good to have them. I hope that answers the question, Abhi.
Okay, Anurag has a doubt. Anurag, go ahead.
Hi, sir. Mainly I'm targeting the analytics CV. So there I've done projects related to ML and supervised learning and the models, etc. So if I'm using the same CV for SDE roles as well, so do I need to specifically mention some project related to DSA or Python coding, something core coding or something? So my projects are mainly based on the regression models, etc.
Right. So do you have any data structures projects so far, or you don't have any?
No, because I'm not from a circuit branch, so I haven't done call 106. So specifically, I do not have.
All right, it's fine, I guess. In an see, typically what I did and what other people do is, let's say they have some projects from machine learning and some projects from data structures, right? So in my CVs particularly, the only difference between analytics and SD CV was the order of those projects, right? In my analytics CV, I prioritize the ML projects above the data structures ones, and in SD ones, I wrote the data structures one above the ML ones. So that's one thing which you can follow. So yeah, coming to your question, yes, for analytics, definitely you should prioritize on machine learning projects.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Avni has a doubt again. Avni, you can unmute
Yeah,
yourself.
hi. So, kind of similar question to this. So, like, what if some of my projects are like maybe they're a mix of core-related and some kind of coding or maybe Arduino, something like that. So, should I write that, or if it's like core-linked, I should leave it out because I'm not certain.
Right. So this was the same case with me, and after my second year, I'm from applied mechanics, by the way, and I didn't have much projects which were directly related to tech. So I did include them as long as that project includes some part of coding and some part of simulations. You can write that. Given that, let's say if you already have 4 to 5 projects and this is another project that you're thinking, then you can think of putting it or not. But if you don't have that much projects, then definitely you should include it. But try to emphasize the coding part of the project and the impact part. That's what the recruiter will see. See, recruiters already know that not everyone is from Circuitel, and they well accept the fact that you are from let's say a core branch and then using coding to solve those problems, right? So that's a good thing. Don't worry about that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, if anyone else has a question, they can like raise their hands or type it in chat.
अभी पूछ लो यार, कल deadline है तुम्हारी.
Okay, looks like we don't have many doubts.
There's something on the chat. What should I do if I haven't done a tech project and internship till now, but have good knowledge of DSA? Right. So Bhuvnesh, in such a case, see, not having an internship is fine because most of you are just out of second year, and not everyone has done an internship, so don't worry about that. For projects, let me see what branch you are in. Right. So you are in production and industrial, right? So if you have done any projects, like even if they're course projects or your call 100 projects, you can choose to write call 100 projects, either 100 projects, or anything that you did pre-college, let's say, or any self thing that you did, any web development, as someone asked me. So that's something you can mention. And since you're saying you have a good knowledge of DSA, you must have solved a good amount of problems and data structures. You can convert them to projects. Like most data structures projects are basically big data structures problems, right? So you can write them as a project. That's fine. Given that you are able to provide the proof for that policy.
Okay, so I think we are done with the doubts. Sir, do you have any final words for the attendees today?
Well, just focus a lot on your CVR. I think there's another question, not related to CV, but the shortlisting tests for analytics profile is only DSA asked, or is it as rigorous as SD? All right, so this is a good question, Humayun. Most analytics companies won't ask you very difficult problems on DSA. They'll ask you DSA questions ranging from easy to medium level lead code. On top of that, they'll also ask you mathematics problems, probability problems, some puzzles from Brainstellar, and all the famous resources that you might be aware of. Some of them also ask some basic machine learning MCQs. Right. Some ask, there's a whole spectrum, right? For each company, there's a different criteria and there's a different test altogether. So I'm enlisting everything that I've been asked so far. So mathematics is there, probability is there, puzzles are there. Then we have some machine learning MCQs. There are some companies interestingly ask your English aptitude as well, particularly analytics companies. Some of them ask you, let's say, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So there are all the categories which different companies will ask you. Anything else?
Okay, so we have a question from Sahil. I've worked as a mentor for PW. Should I write it?
I think yes. If you don't like this would most likely come under the ECA section. And if you feel that your other ECAs are not sufficient enough to include to fill your ECA section, then you can definitely write it. That's fine.
Okay. Anyone else?
In what cases does the CV get flagged? Yes. So I'm a victim of getting my CV flagged every time whenever the CV window was open. So what you have to do is first of all, don't panic because most of the cases where CV is flagged, there are no problems. So they just flag it to ensure that your proofs are correct and everything is in place. They might call you to the OCS office to in person to verify and tell whatever emails that you have attached, whatever certificates that you have attached are legitimate. So don't worry about that. Just make sure that you're not attaching any, let's say, screenshots of things. Let's say you won some competition and that you don't attach the Instagram story of that competition as a proof, or let's say you were a part of some team in a fest, let's say RDB fest, and you don't attach the WhatsApp group chat. So they are the things which don't get accepted. For your PORs, only your PORs that passed on the portal will get accepted. If it is not passed, ask the particular general secretary or the secretaries to mail it to you using their official mail IDs. For ECAs, the ones which are passed are fine. If you are using some other thing outside ITD, make sure that you have the certificate or an email from the particular authority. For projects, again, as I mentioned before, the screenshot of the code or the working screenshot or email conversation between your professors. For scholastic achievements, I guess you'll have all the proofs, let's say 10th, 12 mark sheets or your scholarships or DEPSI, merit certificates, attach all of them. In that case, you won't face any problems. Ask now exactly what emails are you being talking about? Are they going to verify personal projects? Yeah, I'm not sure about this rule because they have implemented it this year. So during my time, there were no proofs required for projects. So I'm not the correct person to ask this. Okay, Sarthak is an interesting question. What if we don't know exactly which career option is better? What should we do as second year students? तो यार मैंने फोर्थ ईयर पास किया ही अभी मुझे भी पता कि मेरे लिए क्या सही करियर ऑप्शन है सो डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट इंटर्न में बहुत सारी कंपनीज आ रही हैं सबके लिए सीवी ढंग से बनाओ अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करो एंड जहां भी लग जाए जस्ट बी हैप्पी विद दैट बी सैटिस्फाइड तो अभी इस पॉइंट पे इतना सोचो कि ये मेरे लिए करेक्ट है कि नहीं है whatever you like if you like the company if you like that role you can apply to that.
Sir, Asta was talking about InMo camp invitation email.
Yes, you can write that, but you also have to highlight that for the receiver of the sender of that email, the alias should be visible, that @inmo.com or whatever it is. Just make sure that the sender of the email is visible along with the email. Here, Shubham is asking for the false part if somehow I lost the proof of it and I still mention it in my CV. Yeah, you can, but you have to be ready for your CV to get flagged, and OCS might ask you to remove that point if you don't have the proof. May I know what scholar it is? Is it a scholarship or is it some merit or any award? Scholarship, right? Okay. I mean, let's say if it was monetary scholarship, you can attach a proof of that a particular bank statement, only that particular line that yes, that money was credited to you and from this particular body. That should work. You should convince the OCS body that I received the scholarship. That's it. I would say. Yeah, can't really comment on this part. You can write it for now, but if it later gets flagged, be ready to remove that.
Sir, Abhishek is asking any opinion on how to source prompts for missing project.
What does he mean exactly by sourcing prompts? What prompts are you talking about? What types of questions are asked for SD shortlisting? So yeah, SD shortlisting test mein questions vary from easy to all the way to hard. Like Google will ask you hard and advanced questions. Some companies like GS will ask you easy to medium questions. So it varies every year with every company. So be prepared for the whole range of questions which you can witness.
Okay.
How to find projects to make. Okay, that's what you were saying, right? Here, let's say if you talk about data structures, you can just do a simple Google search, famous DSA projects. You'll get a lot of plethora of projects which are being done by people. You can replicate them. You can improvise on them. So then, and hence you can write them, right? And you will also have a proof of it, of the project. Coming to machine learning projects, again, you can access Kaggle. That's a famous machine learning website. There are a lot of projects that people have done. You can replicate them or improvise them and hence write it on your CVs. Reksha is asking that after CV gets flagged, you are only allowed to remove and not add. Yes, I would say, see what will happen is your CV gets flagged. You will be in the OCS office. You will be in front of them with your laptops. So if you add anything, they'll be able to see live, right? So don't do that. You will be allowed to remove, but just make sure that you have extra points that are hidden. If you check the OCS portal thoroughly, you will come to know that you can write things and then hide them, right? So make sure that you have one or two buffer points in every section, that in case OCS asks you to remove one particular point, you can add that buffer point later on without panicking that my white space is left beneath my CV. So just make sure you have one or two ECs and PUR points as a buffer.
So Anish is asking, will DR be flagged as he doesn't have proof?
Yes, most likely it will be flagged. You should have a proof of the DR. You can't just write it without a proof. Ask the UG section, they will email you or give you a certificate of your DR proof. Can you mention the rating? Here, Vivek, I have not usually seen people writing the ratings of their platforms. If you have won some competition on that platform, you may write that as an ECA, but definitely you can't just write a rating. No, you can't write a rating. Avni asking UG section won't give the DR in time. That's fine, I guess. Like if you know your DR, if you have called them and you know your DR, just mention that for now and email the UG section. By the time they mail you, by the time CVs will start getting flagged, so you will have the proof later on. Way to add online on certifications and degrees, you can write in your SCOL section. If you think that that SCOLs is already filled a lot, you can choose to write in ECs. If that particular university of degree, let's say if it's a course from Stanford University, right? You can write it in your SCOLs with the heading Stanford University and then describe it. If you think that it is not much renowned, but the course particularly is more renowned, let's say it's machine learning course and the organization is not that much renowned, you might choose to write it in ECS.
Sir, Kabir says he had mailed the UG section for DR proof, but the system is down and they'll be checking directly without like giving out proofs.
It will be checked without direct proof. Okay. I think you can mention that, like, as long as you know that you're speaking the truth, you can write that later on in case your CV gets flagged. And in that case, you can add the CV section again. System is down for now, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, it won't be. Otherwise, if this is the case for everyone, no one is able to produce the proof for DRs, that's fine. I think OCS and ED section will do something, as you said, that they will be checking this without their proofs. So that's fine. Don't worry about that. That's not your problem.
Okay. So do we have any other doubts? No. Sir, what would you like to say to wrap this up?
I think all the best to everyone who attended this session, and make sure your CV stands out among others. Just remember this, that you have to use impact words everywhere. You have to show the recruiter that there was a reason you did what you did. Whatever changes you did, whatever improvisation you did, please ensure to make that. Yeah, keep things crisp. Just don't be too much verbose in whatever you are writing. Don't be too general. Don't just describe what you did, because everyone will be doing that. You have to show how are you standing out. So that's something very important. Be consistent with the formats, as I mentioned. Your British versus American styles of writing, your format of your date, your white spaces, very important. That's something you should be very mindful of. And all the best.
Okay, so we'll wrap the session up here.
Sure.
Thank you for joining, and we hope the best of luck for your CV session.
Thank you very much.